You're alright, sweetheart. If I wanted to go, you wouldn't be able to stop me. Behave yourself. You alright? Like being oppressed? Forgive them, they are muppets, they know not what they do. He's speeding. But what evidence shows over the last 6 months is that you do nothing about it.
I can't afford speed.
Do you know what seems to be happening?
I can't guess what speed he's doing.
One part of society is being marginalised, while the other part of society is being facilitated in law breaking. That's how it appears, and that's why people get upset and come out the protest. And I'm a peaceful person, a pacifist, environmentalist.
You were 10 minutes ago.
Well, that wasn't peaceful.
What, offering to go in a boxing ring with you?
Well, that's peaceful. It's a sport. It's a sport.
Come on.
It's a sport. I've been assaulted by police officers before. Severely assaulted by police officers before. You know, and occasionally you've got to defend yourself against them. So I get upset when they start oppressing, because there's no need for it. But what happens is there's one part of society marginalised, i.e. this part of society, and a lot of them are local. And then there's another part of society who talk about activists coming in from outside who are not local. Francis Egan, for example, our Irish friend, and Quadrilla based in BVI, are they? British Virgin Islands, coming in and poisoning our society and then causing splits in the society, and then you lot facilitate the splits because you sit here and watch people assault people and do nothing about it, yet you'll kettle and contain peaceful protesters. It just seems odd. So it says that you've obviously been told that you must facilitate it, and you think you'd have independent judgment. You know, you would think that, I mean, you can't all be ignorant to what's going on in the planet. Middle of summer, look at this. We're getting a maritime weather, aren't we? Maritime weather system coming in, floods and rain, and the hottest year on record to 2017. 2016 was the hottest before that, and 2015 the hottest before that. It's not a coincidence. And more fossil fuels and more methane is just going to exacerbate the problem. And history, you look back at your grandkids in 20 years' time and say, we were tools. And that's not a meaning to have a go at you. You're tools because you're being used as a tool to oppress people who've actually seen the light and know what's going on. It's horrendous. Horrendous. And what we should be doing is try to do something to fight it. That's what I'm doing. Not in regard to this, but in regard to I'm developing renewable energy, because that's what we need. Quadrilla are boasting they spent £1.5 million in this local economy. We spent £5 million in this local economy developing wind turbines, and we can't build one because we can't get planning permission, because one person objecting can stop that planning. How many objections were there here? 10,000? 10,000. You're being facilitated, and you need to wake up to it. You need to wake up. It's not going to happen. It's non-viable. They need at least $80 a barrel to make it pay. It's at $40 a barrel now, so it's a non-viable industry. So it's not going to work. we could all really go home. But what we want to do is try and avoid any more damage to the aquifer. Artesian well 2 weeks ago went. You know what that is? Big problem, that. Big problem, and they can never get over it. It's Mother Nature kicking back. I wish I was a religious man, so I could forgive you all. But remember me in 20 years' time, when you're saying to your grandkids, really screwed up kids, we're sorry.
Rock it up, just close it down a bit easy.
What's the misinformation going to be this morning? The protesters closed down the road. That's the misinformation that will now come from filed police on their Facebook site. And the protesters haven't closed down the road, have they?
No, they haven't.
So it'd be an untruth. Guarantee that's posted this morning. And it's there to marginalise the society and split it. To try and tell people that the protesters are making them late for work when it's in fact quadrilla.
So what about when the protesters lock on across both carriageways and then blame the police for closing the road?
Stop criminalising peaceful protests. That's my answer.
Is that a peaceful protest?
Well, if you stop peaceful protests, then you get peaceful direct action. It's as simple as that.
Peaceful direct action?
Of course it's peaceful. Why is it not peaceful?
Well, it's affecting other people's human rights, isn't it?
Why is it affecting? Why are you worried about people's human rights? You don't seem to be worried about protesters' human rights.
People have a right to go about a lawful daily business, don't they?
What they did up there last night when they locked on up there, it was called a chicane. Do you know what a chicane is?
Yeah.
So all the traffic could quite easily have got past.
Right.
What would have struggled to get past would have been the articulated lorries.
Right.
You allowed us to go through a chicane, but you allowed us to drive. I've got a business at Whitehill's Business Park. I'll put up with it.
Right. You're free to.
I've got a business.
So other people.
Pardon?
So other people.
Well, they have to put up with it. Just like they're going to have to put up with 600 lorry movements coming out of here. You know, how are they going to shift the gas? Have you thought about that? Lorry movements. Speak to Napoleon. One of your officers told me that it was okay to do that.
Did they?
Yeah. Yeah,